Hey guys, this is Nate with the Nate Escape. Today we are out at Violet Cury Nature Preserve. It's a series of loops. I think there's a red, a yellow, and a blue one. We're out on the lake right now, but we had a particularly dry, wet season, and we're in the dry season now. So there's not a whole lot of water out here. You can see some of the lily pads up this way. There's another stretch of the lake that kind of comes in this way. Normally it's all the way up to the bank, but as I said, it's particularly dry, so it's not the end of the world. It's still a pretty sight to come out and hike around. It's going to be fairly laid back, so sit back and enjoy the intro with the fishies, and then I'll see y'all out on the trail. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully this is close enough to the 360 cam that the mic's not bleeding in and out. Kind of noticed that it was doing that on the last one. So right now, we're gonna go along the blue loop. We came out along the red loop, which I did film. I just didn't get too much audio for that, but I don't think that'll be the end of the world. So we're gonna take the blue loop out. It goes up to the back of the preserve. It goes along some residential housing, which we're not going to record into people's backyard, but we'll get a backward angle of the lake here and then come back around, and I believe it links up with the yellow loop. Anyway, came out in March, but the 2024 hurricane season and the wet season was very wet, so the lake was significantly higher then. But I might go back through my photos, see if I have any on my phone of when the lake was significantly higher. Probably had a lot more prospects for fishing. But I guess you could go down this little cut here, get some fishies. If your heart so desired. I don't have my fishing gear with me today. But like I said, these lily pads go all the way up to the bank there when it's full, and the basin's got a lot of water in it. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people out on the trail trying to avoid them. So there's cuts interspersed. It's because I'm cutting out when I'm walking past people. Agua. And I got a bottled Coke from Mexico back in the car. That's my sweet treat to myself when all is said and done. But I gotta get some good B-roll of the lake here. I gotta get some. Actually, I've already got the footage of me driving in, so that's good. Yeah, all that water was up in here too before. That's what the bottom of the lake looks like. And then hopefully, like I said, I've talked about it before, but I don't have a very, ramshackle solution to the recording and the setup and the rig, which I like this camera a lot actually. It does balance the video out. The gyroscope inside always tells it which way's up. So it's a little less work in post, at least. The GoPro and the action camera, or the knockoff GoPro, they don't really do that. Yeah. You just got over that winter storm. Got the winds blowing in from the great white north. Came down, we were plunged down into the 20s some nights. Nice to be, I think it's in the 60s today, maybe the 70s. It's a good thing I got, 73 right now. And when you're in that sun, it warms you up all the more. But anyway, I probably am going to cut forward a bit, seeing as we're coming up on some backyards. Don't want to film in those. Maybe I'll put the sock over top of the 360 cams, and then it'll just record audio, and then I can intersperse or interlace that over some. There we go. People's fears can be assuaged. And just pull that off when I get past a lot of this, because it does kind of cut back into the woods in the preserve after a bit. Kind of makes fix it. Yeah, it's kind of more work for me in post, though. Having to get it through. Well, not having any visuals to kind of correlate it with, because it doesn't really give you like an audio readout on the 360 cam editor, which isn't so bad. Just have to listen through it as opposed to watch through it. But it's a nice little area. Pretty quiet. Just play it by ear. I can edit it out if I record any people or anything going on. Like those Mexican Cokes, made with the real sugar. You can taste it in the beverage. Mighty fine. Quite refreshing. Just trying not to drink too many of them. Preserve my teeths. I think the sign says don't, trailblaze out closer to the lake so as to preserve the habitat for the critters. Yeah. Don't mess with it. I'm sure there's some native species that they're trying to protect. Whole lot of leave no trace, you know. I was never a Boy Scout. Came into my love of the outdoors after I turned 18. And I wish I had been filming at the time. I thought about it, but I didn't have nearly as many cameras. But I took a trip 5 years ago, 2021, across the whole country, except California. Saw some conflicting reports about California still having like some stringent lockdown policies. So I didn't end up going. Got all the way to Nevada, and then not much of a gambler, so kind of had to go through the heart of Vegas to get on, what is that, 10? Because I came in on 15, got on 10, or a spur that connects it to 10, and went over the Hoover Dam. Like I said, didn't take my, well, didn't have any cameras then to record anything. Would have been a really cool trip to film. Yeah, that would have been 2-3 hours worth of footage. It took me 3 weeks. Went up through Atlanta, through Tennessee, camped a night there, went over west through Tennessee, out into Missouri, got about halfway through the state, camped again under a Army Corps of Engineers overpass, went again through Kansas, all the way through Kansas in a day, because there's nothing in Kansas to see. Well, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I went through Colorado, tried to pitch a tent. Winds were coming in at like 15-20 miles an hour. I was like, yeah, I'd rather not lose my tent. This was all in the summer, mind you, so it's not like it was cold, just windy. And then tried to get was like, okay, gave up on that site, kept on going into Denver. And from Denver, tried to go camping at a spot, but the gentleman at the kiosk, I mean, he was very helpful, but he was very helpful in a not helpful kind of way. Ends up going, yeah, if you want to reserve a site, because like, all I need is a gravel site, you know, something to stake a tent out on. And he said, yeah, we got those. We got 2 available for tonight. But you got to do it through the website. They didn't even have an app on your phone or nothing. So I was like, okay. Trying to go through the steps there. And the cell service was so bad in that part of Denver. Ended up just kind of being like, I guess I can't go. So did a turnaround and came back through. Well, came up to like a business center. I forget what hotel I stayed at. It was a pretty nice hotel. And from there, just kind of had to go stay a night, which is nice. Got another shower in. Actually, that was the first shower I had in the trip. Then went through south into Boulder. Came out west a little bit into the Rockies. I think there's a turtle out there. Oh, I do see a turtle. He got freaked out by that crane. But yeah, went out west. Stopped off at. Stopped off. I'm not gonna remember the name of it. It was like Devil's something. And it was a wildlife WMA or no BLM, Bureau of Land Management managed area. And camped there for a little bit. Woke up with some frost on the car and my tent. Packed it all in. Came back. Came out through, back up onto, what is that? It's not 15, is it? 70, because it goes east-west. I want to say it was 70. Yeah, I got onto 70, went into Utah, drove down into Moab. I was thinking about driving Arches, but there was a 2-mile-long car line to get in. So I ended up packing it in and heading back up north. Then went west. Went to I think it was Hank, Utah, or something like that, or Hill. The way I always remember it is Hank Hill from the King of the Hill. Went a little bit longer, and then from there, kind of hung out for a minute. Went through Capitol Reef National Park. That was really cool. I do believe I have some footage of that. Maybe I can throw it up. I just had my phone recording in the little dock that I have for it in my car on the windscreen. And then what else did I do? Got all the way to Fillmore, Utah. Got a hotel out there. It was very nice. Had a pool and a spa. And got another bath in. And then, or a shower. And went up into Salt Lake City. Never been. I heard it was really pretty. I have some friends who are Mormons, or formerly Mormons. And they were telling me, oh, you've got to check out Temple Square. It's beautiful. And they didn't know, and I don't blame them. It's kind of hard to keep track of what's all going on in different places. But the Temple Square was, I think they were refinishing or rehabbing parts of it, like the external, the face. But it was pretty, apart from the scaffolding and everything. And then some of the friendliest people I've ever met. I assume a lot of them are Mormons. I think one woman came out of I don't know if they do Bible study or. But it was Sunday, also the day I went. Just happened to happen. But everything in that town closes, or that city, everything closes on Sundays, which is, makes sense. Day of rest. But I think I was looking for a restroom because it was like a 2-hour drive up from Fillmore. Came down a little bit and was like, oh gosh. What am I gonna do? Ended up speaking to a gentleman because it was I think I tried to go into the mall, at a public restroom. It was like an open air mall. With Yeah, open air mall. Came up to this little kiosk to for access. There was a guy manning the camera, and he said, "I'm sorry, sir, but there's no we're not open on Sundays. But if you go around the corner, there might be a Starbucks." He's like, "You want to look for a corporate place. They're the only ones open today." Which a lot of the businesses there must be locally owned by church or members of the Church of Latter-day Saints. So I ended up worming my way around the block, found the Starbucks, managed to use the restroom, walked a little bit more through some more of the parks and squares and stuff there, and got back on the road, come on home. Well, come back to Fillmore anyway. And then from Fillmore, I spent, I think, 2 days there, kind of resting and recouping. And then, went out to Tabernacle Hill, which is an old volcanic formation out that way. It's really cool, actually. There's a bunch of lava tubes that work their way through. It's like all flat prairie land almost. A lot of it was farms and stuff, and what wasn't was like a cordoned off section for Tabernacle Hill, kind of like a publicly, or I guess probably state run section. And went from there got a lava rock, teensy tiny rock, and then still have that somewhere in all my things. It used to be on my bedside table. And then went to Zion in the corner, which is, it's kind of a funny reason for going to Zion, but I was playing a video game. You might know the one, but Fallout New Vegas has a downloadable content section where you go into Zion National Park, what was formerly Zion National Park. It's a little bit higher, but not so bad. Anyway, where was I? Zion. Yeah, so motivated by a video game, went across the country to see a state park? No, national park. Interesting, right? Go out into the side trail here, and wrap back around and get onto the yellow. Won't be going directly into the sun anymore anyway. So that's always good. And then cuts back that way too. Oh, this is the yellow trail. Yeah, and then after Zion, like I said, not much of a gambler. Just kind of went straight through, in and out of Vegas, back across Hoover Dam. Wanted to camp in Arizona, but I was kind of feeling a little haggard. So I think I got another hotel in Kingston, Arizona, which is real pretty. Went from a little lower, less sun glare. Where did I go from there? Went back to That's right. Went into Dragoon, New Mexico. From Dragoon, I camped before I got into Silver City. Went from, I camped at a culvert where they divert the water when it melts from the mountains. Thankfully, I didn't have to deal with any running water. Went from there through Silver City and then got to my home state of Texas. I think I stayed along 93 or 98. Went to my hometown of Del Rio, Texas. And from there, well, I want to say, where was it in Texas that I stayed? I got a hotel, the King Suite, for like, it was the last bedroom they had, but I got it for like 95 bucks. I was actually able to like cook my food inside as opposed to on a butane stove. And then went from, where was that? I can't remember if it wasn't Houston. I'm not going to remember the name of it now. So many towns in Texas. Long story short, I stayed at a hotel in East Texas and then came eastward into Louisiana. Stayed a night in New Orleans, also at a hotel. But it was this summer. Bugs were pretty bad just getting out of the car. Then after New Orleans, well, actually, yeah, that's right, halfway through the state. Somebody was on the main, well, this is the main thoroughfare coming out. But, that's right, halfway through the state of Louisiana, I found a beach that you could drive out on. The access road to it had like a centimeter of water coming up over the asphalt from the sea coming into like a little tributary or something. And I had to drive through that, which wasn't that bad. I had the car the Soul that I have now, and went out onto the beach and was thinking about pitching a tent. I had sand stakes, but I had read my book that I had taken with me for the course of the 3 weeks up to that point. It didn't really have much else, and there wasn't any cell service, so I was going to be very bored, and you couldn't really burn a fire out on the beach. So I ended up packing it in. That's why I ended up staying in New Orleans, and then from New Orleans came eastward. I think it was in Mississippi very briefly, but then I got into the Panhandle of Florida, and I got family up in the Panhandle too. So I ended up staying with them, and all fun. Very good times. I think there's another little side cut up here onto the yellow trail, because we're back on the red now. But there's another side cut up here that goes over what should be a pond, but because it's so dry, it's just an empty bed. But it's not so bad. I'm gonna get some more B-roll there. I've gotten a little bit of B-roll everywhere. At least on the eastern side of the lake. Trying to obstruct the sun a little bit. Like I said, a little less editing in post. And so that's the whole story of that cross-country trip, which was Probably some of the most fun I've ever had. Oh, there's a doggy. Yeah, you're starting to hear all the traffic again. It's just one little stretch of woods between us and the cars. And then this is that little side stretch. It's a good spot for it, right in the shade of this tree. Get a little B-roll. And almost ready to call it a day. Methinks. Which I'm in the middle of a predicament looking for my terabyte SD. Lord knows where that one went. Seat and relax for a minute. Uh-oh. This is good. Got a lot of footage. Told y'all a fun story. I should have that footage somewhere, backed up on an SD card or an external hard drive or something. I'll take a look for it. Ooh, forgot all about that. I had a delicious meal in Capitol Reef. There's a restaurant. I'll be able to find it on Google Maps. But I got rainbow trout roasted in pine nuts with, I think, mashed potatoes and green beans. Time to hit the road, Jack. Oh, bird pooped on me. Wow. I think that's good luck. Oh well, could be worse. Could have pooped on the camera. That would have been a catastrophe. I go grab a paper towel or a rag or something. I got one in my car. Work shop rag. And there's the car. Thank you for visiting. That shop rag. Or just not shop rag. wash that one. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, tastes like real sugar. I'll see y'all around in the next one.